Oof, my stomach. Hello. Hi, Emily. What's going on? Hi, Lashonda, Jenny, if you're still in the house. Welcome. Thank you for dropping by here to visit me for this live stream. Heads up, this live stream is all about me, myself, and I. As you know, I'm a Leo ascent. And not only am I a Leo ascent, I recall that about, was it last June or so, about 6, 7 months ago, we had that Great American solar eclipse or something like that. And I think that was in Leo, was it that this past year? And it basically suggested to do what? Shine bright like a diamond. And so today we're going to explore and see if I am successfully shining like a diamond. Have I gone through the transformation process that diamonds go through, the high pressure process to bring about the beautiful gemstone we call a diamond out of the old dirty coal? I just wanted to wait a minute and see what's going on. Okay, you a Leo too? Okay, very good, very good. Hopefully, I'm sharing or creating this live stream, sharing something about myself, and I hope to inspire you ladies and gentlemen to come to understand or realize if you have, realized your life purpose or what you have come here to do or how you can contribute to humanity successfully. At least that's my goal. And so let's see where I'm at. Try to get my board organized a little bit. I wanted to look at something before I begin. Of course, I ask you to be a little patient with me. You know, I don't know my way around well, but I wanted to see something because I noticed that my live streams aren't published when I'm done, but I have selected for, everything to be public. I guess it's not uploaded yet because I'm still making it. Let me look under the live stream part. But before we begin, how are you doing this evening? How is it going? How is the weather? Are you standing strong? Let's see. It says public here too. I don't know why it's always private. I don't know. Okay. Well, I'm not going to worry about it. I'm going to close that one up and leave this one active. Back to you, ladies. So, it's all well. How's the weather where you are? Here, it's still cold. Still cold. I got up last night to go to the restroom, and the floor was so cold. I didn't even want to go. I was like a kid, just shaking. And my bathtub stopped running yesterday when I was doing a live stream. So I guess the pipes were in the process of freezing. And something told me just turn the water on and hopefully, it'll break through. And it took about 5 hours and all of a sudden the water came back on. And the tub was the only thing that stopped working. I had never seen that before. I have to research that because I had never heard of that before. And I was like, that's pretty strange. Um, Emily says, good, having a hard time getting out the covers, LOL. One of those days, cold, but being a mom, yup, you gotta still keep pushing. Oh, sure enough, do. I can honestly say that I am so thankful that my kids are grown now. I remember when they were little, I just never thought, I could not see the day that they would be adults and I would be fairly free. And I remember this older lady telling me, you better enjoy them now, baby, because in the blink of an eye, they going to be grown. And they getting on your nerves now. But when they get older, they going to be on your heart because they going to walk out that door and you ain't going to know what they into. And all you can do is pray. And she never lied. My eyes blinked and now they're all grown adults. I'm so happy though. And yep, they on my heart and I have to pray and cuss and fuss. Hi, Yoni, how you doing? It's cold. I'm taking the observer position, which is be quiet and calm as the shift occurs. Oh no, on your pipes, right. But thank goodness they did not bust. I'm so thankful because that's just been another challenge to overcome. And you said something about the shift. And I got a message about the shift the other day. See, I've been in my flesh, so yes, they grow so fast. They do. And if they grew fast, that means I got old fast. Dirty kids. Making me old. But, you were saying the shift, kind of just staying calm, staying quiet, staying in your lane while the shift occurs. It is interesting that you bring up the shift. And yesterday you were talking about how, it's like, feel like something kind of awkward, kind of looming in the air or discomforting. And I was telling you how I got that download. Y'all know when I talk about download, I'm talking about messages just come from basically nowhere out of the ethereal realm. And I am literally told something by either a benevolent being or a benefic being. It just depends. It may be male, it may be female. Well, the other day when I was got this download from a female, it seemed like a benevolent entity. And it was telling me, that's when I was talking about how it was telling me that every human has telekinetic powers, and it can be and it's directly connected to humans' subconscious, and it can be experienced through the use of the Ouija board. And at that time, it was something else about the shift. Oh man, what was it about? See, I haven't allowed myself to hear again. Again, I've been busy in my flesh and not paying attention. Dang, it was something about the shift, and I wanted to share it. But eventually it'll come back to me. I assume it usually does. And he says, feels moody. I feel extremely tired. Yeah, I've been tired. I had to make myself stay up, stay a little busy today. And I'm going to tell y'all what I did and why I'm making this live stream, because I just made one yesterday and I think the day before. I was looking at, I closed the page. Dang, I closed the page. Let me see. I was looking at, let me see if I got it written down. Oh, okay. Yeah, I was looking at, or I was on a site and looking over the site, and it's called O-Net. And O-Net has to do with various careers or anticipated growing career fields. So the time period in which these fields are anticipated to grow or have a higher demand or opportunity, it lines up with our new paradigm, the the introduction and expansion of our new paradigm. And so I was going through their contents, the site's content, and I was like, what do I want to be? I feel like I've tried so many things in my life, and they really haven't been very successful for me. I share with you ladies and gentlemen that even though I'm real social, I still have a difficult time creating and sustaining intense bonds with others. I don't know why. I'm a bit off-putting, possibly because I'm like people think I'm a know-it-all, or people look at me like my morals are real high, and they not. I'm a sinner, but something about me that really just off-puts them. So it makes it hard for me to forge bonds. Like me, I can't run in the street because everybody, oh, you two, they call me, what's the old statement? A goody two-shoe. I'm a goody two-shoe. I'm like, yeah, right, y'all know me. Y'all know I ain't no doggone goody two-shoe. Hey, Jordan, I missed you yesterday. How are you? And I loved your video. I believe it was on capitalism. I really like it. I see great growth, and I really learned some stuff from that. Thank you. It's finally Aquarius season. It's the 21st. It is the 21st. Happy birthdays, Aquarius. We about to turn up to both January Aquariuses and February Aquariuses. Happy birthday. Look at us turning up. I forgot. When you get old, Jordan, you forget. When you get old, you forget. And I don't forget about my own birthday coming up on February 6th. And so, I forgot I was saying old age again. This live stream, why am I making it? Because I went to visit this site called ONET. And ONET has the listing of the career areas that are anticipated to expand in the near future. And the near future aligns with our new paradigm that is emerging. So I started looking over the list, and it was so many careers. And so I'm looking at these careers like they really expect that field to expand. Not something I would think. But there were so many careers. So I'm looking at them, and I said, well, what do I want to do? Ordering food in 1 second, you gone with your bad self. Uber Eats, what's the other one? Uber Eats, DoorDash, or I can't never remember that other one that deliver anything. We live in a wonderful world. Bringing food right to your doorstep. We be here doing that too. I wake up, there's all kind of cars out there dropping off food. Grubhub. I got an account with all of them. And so back to the my day. And so after looking at these careers, I was like, well, what do I want to do at this point in time in my life? Because now my kids are all grown up. I did work, and I ran a daycare, but it wasn't for me. It was to make ends meet. It was to make sure I was able to take care of my kids, especially after I became a single mom, a single woman, and everything fell on me. And so I worked those 40, 50 hours a week, and I did what I had to do. I got them up and grown safely, thank goodness. Got their education, no pregnancies or anything. I had 4 girls, so that was a concern for me. I worked real hard. They didn't fall in the grips of a R. Kelly, that kind of thing. And so I feel like I did my job the way I was taught to do so by my mom, so I think I was successful in that. But after they got older, up to age 17, 18, I stopped working at the daycare. I couldn't take no more. I realized my nerves was bad. And I was working with kids. Well, I was working with all variety of kids. Y'all hear me say, the devil offered to buy my soul. It offered me the kingdoms of senior citizens, young adults, teenagers, babies, and infants. And I told you I respectfully declined. I was not joking. I was very serious. And I also shared that he offered it to those particular kingdoms or age brackets to me to influence to my benefit, and of course his benefit, the devil's benefit, because I have had so much influence in my life. And in the video where I talked about can you sell your soul to the devil, I was trying to express that. And I know I'm jumping subject matters. I really don't have no order to this video, but you do know I'm going somewhere with it if you could just be patient. And so what I realized upon that opportunity, which is the ninth house of Sagittarius, being in the experience and learning from the experience, is that the devil usually don't take you from the position or station you in and sit you on complete high. The devil may give you more favor in relationship to the experiences you are already predetermined to have. Just like with the story of Jesus, again, when I talk religious, Christianity, I'm not trying to convert anybody, just using some of the stories that we seem to all know or be aware of. Just like Jesus, when the devil took him up to the mountain and offered him any kingdoms of the world, and Jesus declined. Well, in reality, it was Jesus's. It was God's stuff, and Jesus was the descendant. So you know what I'm saying? The devil really can't give you nothing that you ain't already got. You might just get a little more favor or something like that. And I bring that up because the battle as a single parent was very intense, very emotional, draining, but it also did that, purification and fashioning process associated with changing coal in a diamond, the pressure. And so now here I am. It's almost like I'm in a new part of my life. So the question is, what do I do now? What do I do? I got to do something in order to be self-sufficient. What do I do now? Many of the endeavors I tried when I was younger didn't go well for me. And a lot of it had to do with being a wife at one time and then being a mother overall. And of course, mom sacrificed for everybody else. What are we? We're kind of sacrificial, or we sacrifice ourselves. And so a lot of things I had to choose. And so, of course, I chose my kids every time. Mother suckers, but we made it. Yep, that's how I go. And so now I'm here at this day. This day is victorious. I'm still fairly healthy. I look pretty cute every now and then, and I'm fairly knowledgeable. So what do? I'm just going on and on, y'all, making small talk. But anyway, so I go to this on net and I'm looking at all these career options that are anticipated to expand over the next few years. And I was like, what do I do? What do I do? And I said, I remember when I was in middle school, taking a test. This is like the last year when I was in middle school. That probably was like 84 or something like that. About to go to high school. They gave us a career assessment, I guess like test or quiz. And I remember the results almost like it was yesterday. And so today I was like, I'm going to go online and I'm going to find me a career assessment test and I'm going to take it and see what it has to say. And so today I'm going to share those results. I'm not going to lie. It's just a sample. But even though it's an example, it's pretty extensive. And I want to kind of cover it all. I'll be reading quick, sloppy, but I just want to get an idea out to anyone that views this video. And the reason the idea I want to get out to the viewers is the information I'll say I want to get out to the viewers is information about what this career assessment suggests that I personally, Nancy, this video is about me, should be doing in this life, a career path, what my ambitions may surround, what works I can actually do in order to contribute into humanity, 10th house of Capricorn. So I wanted to share this information with you because it was the same, almost like when I was in middle school. It was the same thing. And so I want you to see it, and I want you to determine, am I in the correct career path of being a tarot reader, a psychic, a medium, a meditation coach, you know? But you'll see where I'm going when I opened up this little site, if it's working still. But before I go into this little site, I want to talk about that test I took when I was in middle school. How old are you in middle school? About 13 or 14? I remember taking the test and the results come back, and I'm so excited. Career assessment. What can I be when I grow up? Oh, it's going to be easy. They about to tell me on a piece of paper. So we get the results back, and it said the strangest things to me, things I had never thought about. When I was younger, I wanted to be a fashion designer, 11 to 13. Okay, yeah, okay. I think I was about 13. I wanted to be a fashion designer. I always set up and drew all kind of clothes and shoes. I had a natural ability at that kind of stuff. What else did I want to be? At one time, when I was real young, I wanted to be a nun. So I'm going to stop there and talk about that career assessment quiz I took in high school. The results said that the most, complementary fields of work or occupations that I should seek would be as a counselor, a therapist, somebody that dealt with humanitarian efforts, therapists, social worker, counselors, or a psychiatrist or psychiatry. And the last thing that I remember that really stuck out was when it said it was a potential, for me to be a nun. Now, mind you, when I was a little kid, I thought about being a nun. But by the time I was 13, I realized the world was too fun. Being a nun was not on my priority list anymore. But I found that so interesting, me as a nun. I can honestly say, as I got older, the thought of being a nun, it's somewhat interesting because it would allow me to have more of being like a state of isolation. And I don't think of the nun as like the religious part of it. So I think of myself more like a Buddhist priest or monk if I was to go in that way. Not so much religion, but it is about life, following the life and having the time to meditate and contemplate and to be calm and to be in sync with, the frequency of this world. So I could see me doing that. And so I just shared that because I was just tripped out that it said a good occupation would be to be a nun. I thought that was so interesting. So anyway, I want to go into this on this website and show y'all my business. Now, this is TMI. It's all about me. I am sharing with you my personal career assessment results, long as it works. And let's see if I am in the process, truly, of shining bright like a diamond. Let's find out. But y'all know it's going to take me a minute to figure out how to cut this stuff off right. Give me a minute. And I'm also going to black myself out because, you can see. Now, this live stream is not going to be really long because, again, I just want to share. Now, the site that I went to, I accessed that you can see here. This is my actual results. I am signed in long as it hasn't timed me out. Let me go all the way back to the top because I want you to evaluate me. And as you can see, the site is called assessment.com. It's called Map Your True Calling. Map Your True Calling. Before I go into it, let me read. As you see, it's offering a sale. I hope I don't get in trouble. I don't know what I can share here on YouTube or not. And so I'm just taking chances. But I was excited when I saw these results. As you see, they're actually offering a sale, 50% off all packages, they say. What I have access is a free sample. I have not paid for the whole, I guess, publication, or what is it, whole analysis report. I have not. I will be looking into it. I haven't even seen the price yet, though. But I want to share this. Anyway, it says the following is a sample map assessment prepared for Nancy Rogers, which is me. Now, before I go forward, heck, I forget, y'all. Y'all know I forget. I'll be talking. Well, maybe I'll come back to it. Oh, crap. Let's see. Just forget. Okay. And this is just brief because it talks about a free sample of the narrative. And so it's just these little hot spots I'm going to hit. Of course, it has an introduction or greeting. And so I'm just scroll down. And it starts here where it talks about interest in job contents. My question to you, am I in the right field of work? Let's see. Was I made to do this? And the reason, that's the reason why I'm sharing this and exploring this and sharing this information is because last summer, I think it was, is when we had that Leo solar eclipse, and it talks about or suggested shining bright like a diamond, expressing your fabulous self-expression. I don't know if it was this year or the past year. I think it was this year. Shining bright like a diamond. But in order to shine bright like a diamond, you have to know who you are. You have to know your skills and abilities and how you can use them in this world to help this world ascend and to stay in a higher vibrational state. So let's see if I'm in the right field. Okay. Here it begins, and I'm going to try to just read some, but not all. It says, preferences for Nancy fully support being perceptionally, subconsciously, oh my goodness, what is this? Subconsciously and consciously aware of fantasy, symbols, symbolic relationships, abstract ideas, options, and choice of options as they relate to creative or innovative activities. Perceptions trigger ideas in Nancy's mind, a process that just happens, a process often called intuition. It is not a conscious effort to logically come up with creative ideas. Instead, the process is best identified with the statement that a thought struck me, a quote by Carl Jung. Probably makes complete sense to Nancy. Art is innate in the artist, like an instinct that seizes and makes a tool out of a human being. Let's see, the thing in the final analysis will something in him is not he, the personal man, but the aim of the art. And I know it says he, but I'm a she. And what is that saying? It's saying that there is something in me, something that already dwells in me that is activated. I don't control it. It is activated in me, like spontaneously. And I have this like conceptual mind and this mind with the ability to analyze. And they kind of suggested, in short, it's a type of intuition that is activated. And I move forward. And it was talking about how, again, that what I liked about it, it was talking about how I really didn't have any control over it and how it just moves. It has its own life. So I'm going to move forward because it has a lot and some things I just want to hit on. So I'm going to read through it. If this is not something that you're interested in learning about me, then of course feel free, to check out any other my other videos that are on my page. But I do ask you to watch this through because you are having the opportunity to really evaluate me. Again, this is my actual assessment, career assessment results that will reveal if I basically was built or made or created to be a psychic or a counselor or a meditation assistant, those kind of things. Or am I merely on here on YouTube and in my private life, just playing around, like a gimmick. We're going to find out today. Anyway, going on. Can you hear me? I need to make sure that you can hear me before I go on because I'll be running my mouth and this here thing and then stop. I'm going to take a sip. Anyone? Yoni, did you get your food? And what you order? Well, my stomach is going crazy. Okay. All right. Well, I guess I'm going to move forward because I'm not getting no responses. What is this thing doing? I'm assuming I'm still running. So let's see. Uh-oh. What happened? Did it time out? Oh, my God. Really? What happened? Oh, my God. I have no idea. Let's see. Please still be there. Oh, my God. It's gone. I'm so upset. Thanks, thing. How did it go away? Let me see if I can get back in here, y'all. Because that upset me. I have no idea how to get back in here. Ain't this? Oh, here it goes. I have to sign in. Oh, my God. You back? You got your food? What you order? I wanted to know, did nobody respond? I was asking, could anybody hear me? The thing just, I guess, timed. I don't know what it did, but I'm upset because I want to just show y'all this. This is so interesting to me. When I was reading, I was like, this is, quite similar to what I remember as a youth. Oh, okay. I don't know. How can I do this? I don't know how to do this. Let's see. No, that's not it. I think. I'm coming, y'all. I'm trying to. Hope I did that right. Hopefully that goes back in. I don't like this thing. I like that I can show screens, but I don't know. Did I do it right? I can't see. Did they time me out? What happened? Oh my, they dirty dogs. Oh my. I don't know how to, maybe that was something, cabbage, macaroni and cheese, and cornbread. Oh, you not playing no games. You for real. Now that's what I'm talking about. I had some tacos today. Older folks used to say when you get older, you can't eat that stuff. I learned today. Where I'm in there. So what's going on? Oh my goodness. Me and my bright ideas. This really doesn't make any sense to me. Mm-mm-mm. I really am. I guess they took it away. A little treat mac and cheese, not a norm for me. Okay, so you're treating yourself on the cold winter's day? That makes sense. This doesn't make any sense if they're not going to give me my thing back. Or maybe they timed it out because I took so long. I don't know. I'm looking at this because I'm getting mad. Now this says, if it don't come up this time, then I'm going to just let it go, y'all. I had a fabulous idea. I wanted y'all to actually see a professional career assessment so that you could evaluate me against this assessment so that you could personally see if I was built to do this work that I am doing and offer the services that I'm offering here on YouTube. But God dang it, they took my thing. Mother sucker butts. I gave neighborhood dog cornbread treats too. Oh, that dog like you. Here you can view your purchase or match. Take it now. I just wanted to see the doggone thing. They some dirty rats. Okay, y'all. Well, I'm coming back because I guess they took it. Y'all can't have my services. Okay, I'm going to just turn it off. I'm not going to get rid of it. Let's see. Here I am. We're going to still move forward and talk about, have I come to realize my life purpose as what the hell? Ooh, excuse me. I'm trying to be on my best behavior, but technology irritates me sometimes. And so I'm going to go over here and let's see if because I had it signed in here. Oh, it's still here on this other one. I don't know them dirty money. Maybe they took it off. Maybe I wasn't supposed to show it online. I don't know. I want to try something, y'all. Just one more thing I want to try. I want to try something. Oh, it's not going to work like this. I got to go through a whole bunch. Look, y'all only eating dinner. So, look, you can sit there and keep me company while I try this. Jordan, you keep me company while I try this. Because I want y'all to see it was really, really nice. Let's see how I do this here. HTTP, too many. Let's see. I'm attempting to pull the same page back up. I wish they had clear instructions on what you can do or what you cannot do. I'm missing something. I guess I'll find out eventually. Uh-oh, I did something wrong right there. I think that is correct. Let's see. Let me see. I'm going to try this again, y'all. So I'm about to make this bigger. Go back here so I can see myself. I'm going to make this bigger. Maybe I did something. If not, then they probably timed out the little free sample. So, did I do that right? Yeah. And one more thing. Bye, me. So let's see. Okay, I got it back for now. So I just want to look at a few things. Oh, really? Okay, maybe you want more. I am not trying to be irritated. Why is it moving? This thing here is not being nice. Now it doesn't even want to move. Oh, I got the touchscreen laptop. Let me see. Oh, see? They're not letting me use it. Not at all. Nope. I can't even move it up and down. Oh, that's just a locked page. Okay, bump them. Okay, forget them. All right. They got rid of me. So I'm going to try to share. I'm going to try to share what was on the page real quick. So some of the things that this assessment revealed is that, I know you can't see it, you can just see me. Again, I wanted you to see it for yourself, but I guess it timed out. And so it talked about the interests in job contents, and it just, remember I was talking about how it suggests that I have a natural inclination to basically be with or be one with my intuition. It also talks about how I am conscious of existence, meaning, purpose, potential, and destiny of humankind, people, and the self. I thought that was very interesting. It also talked about how I enjoy associating and interacting with people, but like independence as well. It goes on and it says that I'm moderately motivated to manage others on a social or organizational basis as part of the overall vocational responsibility. Again, this is just a sample, so you know it cut it off at the end. And it also talks about how I'm motivated to work on projects that are planned, scheduled, and completed. And now I'm gonna go through it because it's a little long, but it was so enriched with information about my about potential qualities that I have that suggest a particular career or particular careers I should go into. And so, just reading, Nancy prefers to be with people and will not likely avoid activities that are done apart from others. Nancy prefers and may even require change and diversity. Sameness and routines cause loss of interest, drive, and energy. Remember, it's about knowing thyself. This is a good application, I'll say, or a report. Even the free part, just the sample part. Nancy is motivated very little by physically working with things and objects as a primary or important part of work. Nancy has little need for or is not motivated by recognition, status, or competitive gain. And when I saw that, I said, that's so interesting because that's one of the issues I have socially. People are so competitive and status seeking. And even though I might look a little flamboyant, I'm not a big publicity chase or anything. It's in my nature. With, I guess, the Leo rising is in my nature that I, what do you call it, like command attention, and I don't try to. I'm an Aquarius. I'm quiet. I'm kind of meek. I'm in the background. Now, you know, Aquarius is wild and crazy, so I can get freaking live, wild, and crazy and turn up. And then in the blink of an eye, I'm quiet and back to my studies. And so anyway, that's recognition and status thing is a major issue in my life. And like it says here, even it acknowledged I don't even have I'm not really motivated, like I said, by recognition, status, and competitiveness, competitive gains. But I want a game, but I ain't got to go. I shouldn't have to fight for it, get in the ring with what his name is, Mike Tyson or Mayweather, to make something happen. That ain't me. Anyway, going on, and it talked about temperament, my temperament for jobs. It's about knowing thyself. Nancy is most likely benevolent, voluntarily giving of self to help others, especially regarding current pain, hurts, stress, needs, and problems. This means empathic, sympathetic, intentional, personal involvement in a personal lives of others to give help. Remember, I said the devil offered me the kingdom of senior citizens, young adults, teenagers, infants, and babies. He offered it for a reason because I already had influence. Y'all even heard me say, I don't like none of them goddamn on age brackets. I don't like them. But I will never ever do anything to hurt them. And anything that I have that I can give, I will give. Especially my advice, And so when it talks about me being empathetic and sympathetic, especially to people that have been through some very traumatic times, that really picks up on who I am. Keeping in mind that we have a very special generation that exists in this physical realm right now. And that is the Scorpio generation. Pluto and Scorpio generation, I think it is, because they came up during times of trauma, a lot of trauma. Remember, a lot of drugs came into the country as far as the United States, wars and rumors of wars and people being fearful about their everyday security in this physical world. The divorce rates are going up. Sexuality was changing. And then the job market was changing. All these major transformations were happening in the world. And so we have a special group of young adults that kind of have come up in very stressful situations and have had to learn how to cope with those situations. Again, I deal with that age bracket a lot of times. And so I move forward and I'm still talking. Now, y'all, I'm talking. I don't know if y'all right now, I'm back over here at the, Jordan. So you in that kind of age bracket? Yeah. And so it's like, how can I say this? Whoever we are as human beings, we were fashioned by whoever the creator is. And we were put here, right? But we also have natural abilities. It's like we were already designed to perform certain works and duties. And I believe that we execute those works and duties every day of our lives. It might be something that we take for granted. Like you say, I don't like that age bracket. I ain't playing. I want to go hang out and turn up. You can't hang out and turn up with no babies and no senior citizens and no stinky old teenagers. You know what I'm saying? And so I don't have an appreciation for them, but I have a natural love for them. I have a natural love for all of humanity. So, I bring that up. Hell, I've talked so much, Jordan, I forgot what I was talking about. Let me go back over here and read it while I still got 4 viewers on my site. If anybody just came in, I'm talking about me today. I am sharing the details that were offered to me in a free sample report from Assess something. What was the name of that place? Assess. It was a career assessment career assessment website, and it gave me a layout of I failed to mention it was 71 questions. And at the 71 questions, a computer generates to suggest the best or to spotlight your qualities and your weaknesses and the best career fields for a particular person to be in. And so I'm sharing that here on this live because I wanted you to have the ability to see with your own 2 eyes. That was my plan before it timed me out. If I am, I'll say naturally, have a natural inclination is the word. What is it? Y'all know, to inclination to perform the responsibilities and duties that I do here on YouTube? Or am I just here faking the funk? And so I thought I would share it anyway. So that's why I'm just going to be reading every now and then. I'll come back over here to the live and see if there's anybody left, to see if you made any comments. But I'm sharing so you can have some information and what to work with. Again, I wanted to share it, but it timed out on me. So I hope I don't have any further issues. Anyway, still talking about the temperament, my temperament for the job. And let's see. I kind of want to read because I didn't read this part. It says this temperament section identifies the motivation and talent an individual possesses in 12 worker talent areas and coincides with the inner interest section. Okay, Nancy, I talked about how Nancy is most likely benevolent, voluntary, all that nice little sweet buttery stuff. Sacrificially, if necessary. So I'm picking up where I left off. Sacrificially, if necessary, and is subjectively gain personal satisfaction from providing personal service. I don't like that because that's not me. And so you hear that? Subjectively gain personal satisfaction from providing personal service. I must, because I do it a lot and I don't get paid. And it ain't just here on YouTube. So it must be something down in myself that I ain't got in tune with yet. But that's funny. It says no. Emphasis is on the word personal. This is a heart trait. Leo, remember I said my sin is Leo? This is a heart trait and is totally self-motivated and voluntary. It almost make me sound like I'm supposed to be a nun, but we know that ain't the case. It is one of the most strongly motivated traits in determining vocational dedication. The word others is important in the context of benevolence. It says Nancy is probably more benevolent toward persons not intimately, formally, or organizationally related. And I found that statement interesting because a lot of times when we read or hear the character traits associated with Aquarius in relationship to like intimate relationships, they say Aquarius love everybody the same way, and those kind of things. And also that we would rather like work with people we're not so intimate with, we're not emotionally wrapped into, but it's this humanitarian helping others energy, the underdog or somebody that really needs help. So we might be a little egotistical, like if you hanging with me, if you're right here with me, I know you are okay. And so I just thought that line was interesting. No, it says benevolence expects those in close relationships to join. Yep. Okay. Benevolence expects those close in relationships to join the giving rather than being a priority recipient. And I thought that was interesting too, because that's another issue I have in my personal social life is that I know people have different love types or love styles, and it seems like I attract a lot of utilitarian type of love. Everybody always wants something. I realize that, but there are people that don't have their basic bare necessities, but we got something. You got something to eat. You're not hungry. So those kind of things, motivate me, and it get me in a lot of relationship issues too. But I never let home go without, never. Anyway, I'm going on. Nevertheless, Nancy probably exhibits benevolence towards all persons, but benevolence does have priorities about eligibility for persons for help. It does. And so that's one thing I've grown to understand, that basically it's a case by case about who you really extend yourself to, because that can get in trouble. And some people don't know how to stop coming. or pay you back and do things like that. So those are challenges that I had to deal with. Anyway, this is TMI. I'm sharing about myself, and we're discovering if I am in an appropriate line of work. Have I come to realize my life purpose as a tarot reader? And so I read on. Nancy prefers and needs change and variety. Change is motivating, stimulating, and energizing. Nancy looks for new options. Nancy has a strong preference to work under the management or Nancy has a strong preference to work under the manager or supervisor of others who are competent and knowledgeable. Yeah, that just drives me crazy. Crazy if somebody don't know their job. That drives me crazy, and I will take over. I will take over because I'll be very competent when I have something to do. I'm guilty. Look, that's my weakness, and that's when I become a bully or aggressive. That kind of thing. That's the kind of aggression I have. Nancy is open-minded, curious, creative, and innovative, having new ideas and concepts and preference to be involved in. Goes on, Nancy enjoys and benefits from being organizationally interactive with others in work or recreational activities. Most likely, Nancy is logical and analytical and motivated to make sense of perceptions by identifying how things, again, it is a sample, so it cuts off. I'm trying to go because it's the main ones I want to read. So I'm just going to read these last little red ones. I'm not going to read the red ones anymore because that would make it take forever. I'm just going to identify the big block summaries and read those so that you can use that information to identify in order to help you evaluate to see if you think I'm in the right field of work and or if I have come to realize my life purpose as a tarot reader. Nancy willingly accepts responsibility for exercising motivated talents. These may include leadership and or management. Like I said, I ran a daycare for a little over 10 years. Nancy accepts and exercises responsibility for organizational management, but may not necessarily seek out the role. Yeah. I ran a daycare professionally. That was my job for over 10 years. But I didn't want to be a manager, but I have such a I have a controlling nature. Talking about Aquarius, I have a major controlling nature. Again, if it's your job to get done, I want it done, and I want it done right. I don't have to go back over it. And so I end up in managerial positions, or I end up being center stage. You know, this opposite house of Aquarius is Leo, and Leo is my rising, and my sun is Aquarius. So I still in a center stage no matter what, without even trying. So next thing is Nancy accepts, exercises, okay, that's the manager stuff. Nancy highly prefers a given, known, managed, and supported organization, position, and role in which and from which. I don't even know what it continues to say. So moving on. Does not prefer being tied to or down to by timed, repetitious sensory and physical activities. I don't want to do the same thing over and over again. I really don't. And it goes on and says, I do not generally see, retain, and or recall verbatim details, which y'all can see here. I be like, whatever I said, I forget. It's something like this. It's a half quote, I don't recall verbatim detail, and instead it shows an awareness of concepts. And it's interesting because later on in this report, it goes and talks about how even though I don't remember things verbatim, I still fully understand. Like it talks about as a concept, the bigger picture, but I know the whole thing already. And so it almost like what do you call it? Maybe the word is vernacular. Not vernacular. Like a verbal kind of game or shortcut I take. that I've created in the course of my life. It says Nancy is motivated. Nancy is not motivated to persuade and is probably ill-equipped to do so. Instead, Nancy can most likely be intimidated. I find that one interesting right there. I got to read it again because that's not me. I know that ain't me. Nancy is not motivated to persuade and is probably ill-equipped to do so. Instead, Nancy can most likely be intimidated. Now, I want to talk about that because when it comes to me, I'm not one that persuades. I will put my point on the table. I will say what I have to say. Either we're going to work it out or we not. If a person is not willing to work it out with me, I don't care what area it is in. And I don't care who it is, neighbor, kid, stranger, I don't know, person on the other side of the world, somebody I'm in love with or sleeping with. I don't care. If we can't work it out, I don't get intimidated, but I will walk away. I have learned my weakness. I really have. And that one I have really learned just like in this last year. I was like, dang, I shut down. You know how they say Aquarius can get emotionally cold? I will get so cold when you know how you hear people say, when I'm done, I'm done. That's me. When I'm done, I'm done. And I walk away and I'm just cold. I have nothing else to say because I believe in fair exchange. I believe in working together, and I believe in putting my portion forward. And if a person can't meet me halfway, especially at this point in time in my life, I ain't got nothing else to say. I'm cutting my losses. And so I will walk away. But intimidation is not my forte. Oh, that was deep. Anyway, so I'm going on aptitude, and now I'm going into aptitude for the job, and that is expression of performing the task and relative to the job. Now I'm just going to read. I'm just going to read the little like summary, a bold summary. It was some stuff in here, but I don't know where it is. So let's see what it says. Nancy's preferences toward literary and or communicative are or could become the basis for sufficient motivation to be vocationally important. Talking about writing, reading, and speaking could be important as far in relationship to my vocation. Emphasis is on communication, picking up information from the minds of others, or number 2, communicating to the minds of others. So either I pick up information from a person's mind or I communicate information to a person's mind. So Nancy tends to be media conscious for absorbing or expressing ideas or both. That's interesting. Media conscious. Here I am on YouTube doing it live. This may be an activity dedicated to itself, like journalism, or it may be a part of other activities such as teaching, library work, publication, administration, etc. It says Nancy preferences do not detour from seeing the bigger picture and handling things that larger context. It's basically saying I can see the larger context and the small things, I think, as well, which is the third house. I think is it Gemini? No, Gemini don't take the time. Virgo looks at the very small particular things, and Sagittarius is fixated on the larger concepts. And so it just shows in this assessment that I have the capability to do both. And that's why now I'm started reading the Little Red Ones again, because in there it has a lot of details about my abilities and, again, my weaknesses. Intellectual and or analytical work most likely represents somewhat important types of mental activities. Nancy preferences are affected but not dominated by such things as beauty, color, and sporadical. I always say that wrong. Sporadical. I'm gonna just say because spatial measure, size, shape, etc. And with that saying is that I do take in consideration the power of beauty and color and size and things like that. But it's not the all in all. It doesn't dominate my process or my work. Nancy is aware of the details of their own. Nancy is aware of details for their own sake and sees the linkage and relationship associated with that detail. Example of that is like the board or the backgrounds that I have. Details are important in order to activate the senses and keep y'all, hopefully engaged a little bit. But it's not the all in all. It's not the bigger picture. That's one of the small details that I add in, whether it's pictures, writing, or whatever, again, to be more intriguing. And so, again, I'm asking you to evaluate me, and I'm asking you to also take in consideration this online career assessment and what it has to say about the best possible career areas for me and my abilities to see if it do what? Line up with me being a tarot reader. Going on, although Nancy does not specifically, here's weakness. Y'all, here go weakness. If you watched my live stream the other day, I gave y'all a testimony. That's why I keep reading this little red, because they had little fine details. It says, although Nancy does not specifically prefer mathematics, motivation is not swayed one way or another, as there is, and then it's cut off. And it was interesting when it started talking about the math in here, because I told you when I was in college, I failed the same class 5 times. I wasn't lying to y'all. It's not something I prefer, but I also told y'all I heard a voice one day to say, fool, dummy, stop asking questions, stop asking why, and just learn the rules and apply them, and you will pass. And I did. And so I told you I made my way through. By the time I left college, I ended up doing very well. And so here it is here in this evaluation saying, whoop, Nancy don't prefer math right here. That's not it. But it does not block me from moving forward and fulfilling the responsibilities and duties that I need to do. Going on. The motivations and preferences influencing Nancy's mind tend not to be oriented toward placing importance or emphasis on what? They cut it off. They're going to make me pay for it. Mother suckers. I move on. More than likely, Nancy does not have highly developed, consistently reliable, sensory, physical motivation. No, I don't. I am not highly, I'm not highly stimulated by maybe like a cook with the aromas. I love cooking. I love art, but it is not something that, just gets me going. It's something when you are a professional person, the work that you do is a passion. And have y'all ever gotten caught up in the work that you do and it's passionate? It's that entity that is there. But this entity is closer to you than any other entity that you, other than your animation. And so it got to be a part of that animation. It got to be an aspect of the animation. When I say animation, I'm talking about that which fuels your life and existence. So the passion associated with something that you're really meant to do, your life purpose, it's one with that entity. And if you're able to ride that wave, when you hear me say ride the wave, that's what I'm talking about. Getting to this place where whatever is, I guess, relevant to you as an individual and in relationship to me, hanging with me, talking with me, having discussions with me about various topics, whether it's tarot, life, spirituality, whatever. And it's getting on that wave and riding it. And it's your own unique self there in that moment. And, I just throw ideas and concepts and stuff out there or what I've experienced, but you have had your own unique set of life experiences. And so that's when I asked you right away, I'm asking you to jump on and, put yourself in the subject matter that I'm talking about so that you can see, so that we can share, so that we can have an exchange. I don't know if that makes sense. I'm going back. Thank y'all for hanging with me so you can learn about me. And I want y'all to type below and let me know, am I a bona fide made to be tarot reader based on your personal evaluation as well as this evaluation or assessment that I'm sharing with you now. Anyway, I move on. So many little red things, but I like them. Nancy has a clear preferences that do not include handling minute manipulation of details for extended periods of time. Don't put me under no pressure. Can I handle pressure? Yes. Do I want to handle pressure? No. Again, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it right. I don't want to go back over it. I can put some tape on it, some glue on it. But if you mess up after I done did it, you're done. You're done. And so that is me. It says Nancy is not motivated for what is called bench work activity, where a person manually, primarily arms, hands, and fingers. I guess that's like working at pushing buttons and doing all that factory line work. Goes on, in activities where Nancy's motivational level is highest is where awareness of specific details are most likely. Now that's important because I have chosen or been led to become a tarot reader. I have come to this place, I'll say, in my life where I feel like I have the capacity, the ability to help another meditate on any issues and concerns or challenges to get answers or potential, problem solving. And it's saying right here that my highest motivational level, when I hit that intuition, when I get on that wave and can soar, is when I am in this place of awareness about specific details, meaning when I hit a plateau, I'm riding that wave, and then you always see me say, I can see. And the people that order readings with me, I help them see. If they cannot, or if they scared to see, I'm there support so they will be more encouraged to see. Moving on. And it talks about, shooky now. Oh, this ain't that thing. Now it's called people. The next category to this assessment, a career assessment for me, is called people. It says how you relate to people in priority order. Oh, okay. I kind of missed that. Ooh, what is it going to say? It says mentor. First thing is, I guess it's a mentor, a trusted counselor or guide. Oh, mentor, a trusted counselor or guide. Nancy is interested in and consciously prefers to consider the existence, meaning, purpose, potential, and destiny of mankind, people, persons, and self. That's so interesting to me when I read that, because when I started my YouTube channel and I finally got enough courage to make my very first video, that's what I share in, they have this like your homepage introduction or greeting video. It wasn't a good video at all. That's why I don't have it up anymore. But that's what I talked about, how I was interested. I was creating my channel in order to explore the mysteries of life, to explore spirituality as well as physicality, to see if we can find some answers to resolve some issues, basically so we could do better. And it said it right there. It said it right there. A mentor, a trusted counselor and guide. And I say that was my interest as well. Nancy is interested in and consciously prefers to consider the existence, meaning, purpose, potential, and destiny of mankind, people, persons, and self. Yep. And in that introduction, I talk about I'm starting with me, and I'm just, inviting others to take the journey with me, and we explore together. With self-felt, self-accepted responsibility to influence and or cause good. And that's another thing about me. Something else just came up about, I've been talking about the stars. I was talking about how one of the challenges that we have here in humanity is getting back responsibility for self. How have I been stating that? Taking responsibility for self, and that takes a lot of courage and things like that. And so I'm very conscious. You hear me say that about that. I'm conscious. Subconscious. I'll say, I don't want to say I'm insecure. So I'm conscious. I want to say I'm conscious. Especially when I do a private reading for somebody. And private readings get real deep, real intimate, all up in your business. And it depends on the information that comes out, how a person will respond. And basically, I can even say sometimes people, actual life could be in my hands. And so I take that very serious. And so I was just interested. I was shocked when I saw that is a part of, a defining part of me, a defining aspect of me. I really thought that was really interesting. Anyway, growth and gain in the lives of all concerned. With self-felt, self-accepted responsibility to influence and or cause good, growth, and gain in the lives of all concerned. Nancy has intuition, going back to the intuition, and philosophical curiosities. I know y'all discovered that already because y'all know that already because I'm always saying why. Philosophical curiosity that causes an awareness of personality and intentions, emotions, ethics. I told you I got social issues due to ethics. I'm looked at as a goody two-shoe, and I'm not. Values and moods of other persons and of self. So, by itself, this is not benevolence. If Nancy is highly motivated for benevolent activities, this trait is compulsively central to personal and vocational activities, directly related to the activities. If there is a lack of personal motivation, then the preference for consideration tends to be more philosophical and academic in nature, but still service-oriented. I find that so interesting because it was something that I learned listening to one of these video books here on the YouTube. I don't know if it was the 48 Laws of Power or something I listened to some years back. I think it was in one of them. But in the book I think it was the book. It said that a person, I don't know what book it was, so it might, I don't know why that one came to mind, but it could have been. But it was saying that a person does not do anything unselfishly. I was like, what? What you mean don't nobody do nothing unselfishly? I'm the most unselfish person in the world. How dare you, right? But by the time they got through breaking down the whole idea or the concept that no one does anything just purely benevolently, I was like, yeah, that's right. I say, even though I'm thinking that I might help somebody or that I love somebody, I'll stop. I want to use love because I was like, oh, I'm a good woman out here, good woman. And so, of course, I love my man, and I thought I loved him unconditionally. But I came to realize, what I'm saying in short, when I heard that message, I came to realize that my love for him was conditional. And the one condition, the initial condition that I required to be fulfilled is that he loved me the way I wanted to be loved. I learned that about myself just in the last 4 or 5 years. I wanted him to love me the way I wanted to be loved. And what I came to find out is that he had his own unique way of loving. He had his own unique way of showing love. And I did not have the power to change that. That's when I realized that I was not so sacrificial or benevolent. Not quite the humanitarian. But that even humanitarian activities or efforts can be in themselves satisfactory, even if we don't are not aware of them. Even if I am not aware, it does give a peace and pleasure, or not pleasure, but a sense of happiness or fulfillment when I do help someone else. These are things I've come to learn about myself. Remember, it's about learning thyself and coming to understand myself, is, including relative to entering into a particular career field or partaking in some type of work here in this physical realm that ultimately contributes to the overall well-being of humanity. Now I know that it does bring me a personal sense of satisfaction and pride when I extend myself to someone. Now, what I can't say is like a real thin line, a veil there, is that, am I happy because that one other person in the world okay? I'm okay. They okay right now in the moment? And I'm happy like that? Or am I happy, egotistically? Many times we can't see ourselves. And so that's the challenge that I face sometimes in trying to see myself. But I think I'm just really happy because I know it's at least 2 people in the world at that moment that's okay. In that moment. I ain't talking about the moment before or after. So anyway, I move forward. Still talking about how we talked about the people and how I interact with them. Okay, I talked about the compulsiveness. Okay, reading some of the red stuff underneath the people and how I interact with them. It says Nancy is motivated to voluntarily communicate to others with the intent or hope that the information will be in their to their benefit. And that's what I do, like even here on YouTube, as I move forward to try to read general tarot readings, which are much more difficult. Is somebody knocking at my door again? Going on, Nancy's motivated to educate. Y'all know that. Somebody said the other day they enjoyed the lecture. And I wasn't even trying to lecture. And so Nancy is motivated to educate, which means to share knowledge that will be useful for the person taught or being instructed. Huh? I'm not doing a reading. No, I'm live. What do you want? Every day now.
I need a safety pin.
Not my business. Look in that closet, in that basket, get in there, get the basket and get out. I'll get the basket when I'm done.
Hello.
No, come here, put your face here. Put your pants down, put your shirt.
Put my drawers down.
They can't because they might be able to see it. Let's see. Uh-oh. You got all this brown stuff in your...
Hi.
This is my oldest daughter. Her name is Michael, everybody. Hi.
Hey, y'all.
Get out. Oh, they always. Why they can't go to their own house? What's that about? What's that about? Okay. Made me lose track. Tell me some things. Safety pin. Tell you. So going on. Talking about these people and how I relate to them. Motivated to voluntarily communicate with others, hoping that the information that I share will be beneficial to them. It says Nancy is empathetically and sympathetically aware of hurts, needs, problems, and wishes of others, and is motivated to help. Nancy is moderately motivated by being on stage in order to pleasantly influence others toward a particular viewpoint. And I found that one was really, really interesting, very, very intriguing to me, because that really pinpointed me. And I'm going to read it again, because it says Nancy is moderately, a little bit, motivated by being on the stage under the spotlight in order to pleasantly, I think I said pleasantly influence others toward a particular viewpoint. Y'all know I'm always smiling, laughing, and I got the little flowers. So I try to be pleasing and not too boring. Something I try to keep you up. I don't want you to fall asleep on me. I know I'm long-winded at times. And so it picked that up in the assessment. I thought that was interesting. And it goes on. It says Nancy can be motivated in some situations to assume the responsibility for planning, assigning, directing, and supervising. So true. Nancy is ready, willing, and perhaps even able or trainable to be persuasively influenced over others with the intent to help. Is that help or hope? Intent or hope? Something. But I just had this thought when I was just reading that about going back to my story that I shared about having the opportunity to sell my soul to the devil. And remember, I said I'm not a person that feels like I need to have to persuade. I put the facts on the table. Y'all see me talking about being reared by Saturn. I put the facts on the table. I let the facts speak for themselves. If you resonate with the facts, then you're going to move and you're going to do what you're capable of doing based on your abilities, and we can make some stuff happen. But if a person don't move, I tell you, I'm out. I walk away. Basically, the same thing happened when the devil offered me those kingdoms. And I realized that it just basically did what I do. He presented the information. And then I said, I respectfully decline. It was over like this. And I walked away. And so it talks about how, let's say hypothetically, had I accepted that contract with the devil, I think this part right here that I just read, that I'm going to read again, would have changed. Which said, Nancy is ready, willing, and perhaps even able or trainable to persuasively influence others with an intent or help. That's interesting, because had I accepted that contract from the devil, then that might have been the favor. Remember, I was promised favor. That might have been a favor that was been given over to me to be able to persuade others. I don't even take the time to persuade others. So it seems like this is what the devil would have added to me, the patience to just sit and maybe have a silver tongue to persuade those people that I had a jurisdiction over in order to get them to move on my behalf so that I can access the other benefits that the devil offered me. It says your first video is your worst video, then you get better. Yeah, that video was, I was like, I don't know what to do. You know, I made it through, Jordan. I made it through. I was so nervous when I made my very first video. Oh, I'm still nervous, but I got something to say. And I'm not one that can hold on to something that I need to say. I'm called to say. And see, that's another thing I've been talking about, the calling. The astrological energies have been talking about us having a calling. We were born, many of us were born with the purpose. And we have such a difficult time finding our purpose in life. But what I'm suggesting is that most of us, I don't care what scenario you may be in your life at any given time, you are activate. You have or your abilities, your talent, your true purpose is always active, is always at work. It is constantly being refined through your life experiences. And I believe, based on the sequence of astrological scenarios that have come out over the last few years, we are headed to a period in time where we're going to be called to duty. Y'all heard me say that in one of the astrological interpretations. We're going to be called to duty. What am I going to be called to duty to do? Maybe I'm going to be called to duty to read the cards for Jordan. And maybe Jordan, you're going to have a message that you put out. Or you're only going to do sexual. You might hear me say something and it's going to inspire her to move on what she do. I do see you say Yoni plant beauty service. Maybe you got to go help some women that's in need. Maybe that's your calling. But the whole point is I think you've been doing it your whole life, because I know this, what is the career assessment covers everything I've already done in my life. When the devil came to me and offered me those kingdoms, I have been dealing with that my whole life. And all of it plays right back in to this evaluation. And so that's why I posed the question over here on this screen. What the heck is that? I don't know. Right there. Yeah. Have I realized my life purpose as a tarot reader? And of course, it's so much more, because I'm a meditation coach, spiritual advisor. I'm a sister in this world, in this life, that kind of thing. And so have I come to realize my purpose in this life? If I perform these works that I've talked about, that that I do, what impact am I having upon humanity? What am I contributing to the collective conscious? What I am contributing, will it help humanity ascend or descend? This is important to come to understand, because I believe the majority of human beings here in humanity are being called to duty. And sometimes we like, everybody can't be called to duty. Yes, they can. This is a big world. Who I touch may not be who you touch. You know what I'm saying? I probably can't even touch who you know. And so on and so on and so on. And this is a kind of a general rule out here that I've heard before, that we are within four of knowing anybody in the world. So I have to touch the people that I know so they can touch, what I'm saying, that fourth person or fifth person, however that would go. That's too much thinking. I ain't overthinking. But my purpose of talking about this and sharing is because I know very well that I have reported over the last year or two that divinity seems to be saying to humanity, get to know yourself. Know yourself on a spiritual level, know yourself on a physical level, come to know your abilities, come to know your social influence, come to know what is motivating you. What's motivating you? Is your ego motivating you? Are you motivated or driven by some emotional wounds? If so, understand Chiron is active. Get some help, get some healing. Because whatever you do in this world, you are contributing to the overall well-being of humanity at the time that you exist. And understand, whatever you contribute will also affect the distant future and the state of humanity. And so I take this stuff real serious, y'all. I'm not being funny. Like, I didn't even do the taking a break from reading my career assessment to you, and talk about the what is it, full blood wolf moon, all them words, full blood wolf moon. That's a whole lot of words, y'all. Do we need all the words? I guess so. So it'd be categorized, catalog. Now who this about? What this about? Oh, yeah, I want to talk about Aleister Crowley too. I got a message about him. I don't know why I got to talk about him. I kind of do, again, because it's these works. It's the selling the soul to the devil, all them kind of things, all playing in together. And little voice came to me today and talked to me about Aleister Crowley. So I'm going to come back eventually and talk to you, ladies and gentlemen, about what the entity was saying to me about him and how he serves a greater purpose than we know. So right now, I'm taking a break from my personal, what they call it, career assessment. And I want to talk about a little bit about this blood moon. I wasn't even going to do it. I had stopped writing. I was like, I told y'all my hands are becoming deformed because I write so much. And I'm going through stacks and stacks of paper, stacks and stacks and stacks of paper. I have bins of papers, burning them. I go outside and burn them. I stacks and stacks of paper because I get so many messages. And so I was like, I'm not going to do this. I can't do everything, do everything. But remember, in that evaluation, it's somewhat of a compulsive thing. So anyway. Talking about just a short, brief interpretation of the full blood, what it was, something, what it was called. It had so many words. It was I'll say this. I'm gonna read down what I wrote. I think I finished. I didn't finish, but I finished the moon. On January 20th, 2019, as you know, the moon passed through Earth's shadow in a total lunar eclipse during the full wolf moon, which is also a supermoon. And it was on Sunday, January 20th, 2019. At the time that I read this chart, it was 11:56 p.m. And it's called the super blood wolf moon at 039 degrees, which is a slice of Aries in the 10th house of Aries. So I just want to talk about what the 10th house is about, why I'm here. I'm not rushing. I ain't got nothing to do but go to bed a goddamn again. So we're talking about the super blood, wolf moon, all that. I want to talk about the 10th house and what it represents. Well, and I'm talking about right now, when I talk about this blood moon, I'm not going to deal with the individual or the microorganism, which is each individual in humanity, the individual avatar or the I am. I'm not going to deal with that. I'm going to deal with the global, the overall collective species that exists here on this earth. But of course, it does have something to do with you as an individual avatar, the I am in your life. But for this interpretation, I just want to talk about globally. Anyway, the 10th house. The 10th house, represents the public persona that is realized. I mean, it actually exists. People can see it. Popular career fields. We're talking about career fields now. My potential career fields. Anyway, it ain't about me. I'm sorry. I digress. It's about the global. 10th house, which is the public persona that is realized, meaning it actually exists. People can see it and interact with it, and they can critique you or criticize you for it. Popular career field or areas of professional expertise. The enhancement of authority figures and reputations, and or authority, social status, or social influence. What am I talking about there? I'm talking about the 10th house, that particular house, that section of the sky. That is where that full blood super wolf moon was. So we're talking about the wolf moon, what it means. Next is the zodiac sign of Aries, which is sitting in this 10th house, if I had it correct. I think I wrote it down right. So what is Aries? What does Aries represent? Aries represents the physical realm, a person. In this case, we're talking about the collective, the global, the masses, humanity. These people in humanity and how we move forward. We move forward in pursuit of physical, worldly advancements, or that which animates and impels us into action. So what am I saying when it comes to Aries relative to the global movement? There is, what do you want?
I was gonna say that.
But you're in here.
You just ruined it. It's cold in here.
I know, and you irritate me. I think I'm gonna have to kick off because y'all not accepting me saying don't come in here messing with me.
Look, it's hard not to for some of y'all.
Because I got to use everything, every little one thing I got. I'm just trying to calm down, y'all. You see, it's getting frequent now. Y'all used to never see them. Now they won't leave me alone. They won't leave y'all alone. They love you. I was talking about this or that super blood wolf moon that happened on Sunday, January 20th. I already talked about the 10th house of the space in the sky it was in, and the zodiac sign is Aries. And I was talking about what Aries represents. Aries represents the collective and how we move. Think about the herds of people moving forward. And why are they moving forward? They're going out here to work, to do. They're after an aim, a passion, or a desire. This thing stop working, it's tripping. You know. And so what is animating them or motivating them? And more or less, it's the right now, based on past readings, it's the need, this thing about to mess up, for security, physical security in this world. And so it made me forget. Yeah, it's blinking in and out. Yeah, let me hurry up. I'm going to really cut this part short. And so, of course, we know that this what super means, going back, breaking up the super full blood wolf moon. Super is an article of superior quality, grade, size, etc. as an adjective of the highest degree or power. What it's really talking about is how close the moon is and how large it is. I wonder if I turn it off. Maybe it's mad. Is that one blinking on, off and on? I don't know. And so I don't know if y'all still here or not, but I'm gonna just finish. It's show people here, but I'm not sure. This thing acting real goofy over here. So anyway, so super talks about just how close the moon is, and therefore it's large, it's full. I know that this lunar eclipse can only happen on a full moon, but it also has something to do with it being such a significant celestial alignment or event. It's a signal. Now I'm going to talk about blood and the definition of the blood. Either I'm citing something or quoting something from Wikipedia or www.dictionary.com. I think this came from dictionary.com. The definition of blood. It's a loose definition, and it's from under science. And it says that blood is the transport medium by which vital nutrients, we'll say, or plates, vital plates are carried to every cell in the body. In this case, who are the cells? Each individual that creates humanity is a cell, and the body is overall humanity. You heard the body of Christ, something like that. Ain't trying to convert you, just trying to give you an interpretation. And the blood also carries waste or uncomplimentary debris to the body, various parts of humanity, out of the body, or it excretes it from the body. And so I hope I finished this. I just want to give me, I don't know. Anyway, the summary I kind of scribbled here about that super blood wolf moon is the super blood wolf moon on January 20th, 2019, of 2019 announces, this is what when I'm talking about the super part, it announces, it's an important astrological event. It announces to the universe and to this world and to all the inhabitants on this world that the appointed time, because the 10th house is Capricorn's home and it's ruled by Saturn, dealing with Chronos and time and Saturn. So it's an appointed time, appropriate and appointed time has come, because it happened on the 20th. So the time has come in which the prominent cells, the most powerful cells, which are what? The people, the various people that create humanity, or the microorganisms relative to the whole cosmos, the individual people here, or humans, psychological disposition, or frame of mind, or personalities and emotions will shift into full gear. I still have a little more to interpret relative to that full wolf blood moon thing, but kind of summarizing what I was just saying, that alignment itself, that event itself, is an announcement to all that is, all the universe, to this world and all the inhabitants, that the appointed time has come. Like this is an evaluation time or a reaping time. It's a reaping time. I know many of y'all have heard this is the year of the pig, and how prosperity is anticipated for those that are prepared and have done the work and know thyself and have found the purpose, your purpose. And so this is a reaping year. And that astrological event announces that time has come for humanity to have a reaping event. This is an appointed time. It was already scheduled for us to be looked at. And when I say I'm talking about it, because I'm talking about we are the micro organisms in a micro cosmos. We are a little grain. It was time for us to be evaluated. And so when consciousness or God or divinity turns to evaluate us, our little microbes, whatever is the primary essence or health of us humans, these little microorganisms, will be the predominant, what was the word I was about to use? Forget. Will be the predominant, I would say, health or status or representation. This thing is messing up, of humanity. So many things throwing me off. Okay. And so based on what I was seeing when I was interpreting, it's like at one time, this was about 2 years ago, I was saying we were facing a lot of roadblocks sitting in front of us. We was running into this brick wall. And it will be an appointed time that brick wall will be completely removed. That lunar eclipse that happened the other day, let me hurry up, on January 20th was the complete removal of the wall. And so the microorganisms, us humans, personalities and emotions and who we are, whether we know ourselves or not, will be highly activated and be free to express itself, ego and all will be in full gear. And remember, blood is transports the vital or microorganisms. The good, it carries through the world and spreads its state or its essence or disposition. What state or essence or disposition is bountiful in this world? And what disposition is, I'll say, subservient or minor or overlooked? Because blood, again, is a transporter, and it also helps to excrete the waste or the unwanted microorganisms out of society. And I'm not talking about people dying or going in outer space, but I'm talking about being totally disregarded. Because remember, we're talking about the 10th house of Capricorn. We're talking about the I am, the avatar, being on stage, being seen for what it do and making it happen. The year of the pig, the year of prosperity, the year of manifestation. And if you're not ready, you will be swept under the rug as insignificant. That is what's symbolic about that blood moon. Moving on. Let's see what I have to say. The predominant nature of humankind will operate as a catalyst. Yeah. Whoever, let me just read. The predominant nature of humankind, the essence of disposition of mankind overall, the collective consciousness. Some saying is subconscious. Some things are, but other things are not. We know who we are. We know how we act, and we know the works that we do. Whatever the truth is, well, that is the predominant nature of mankind and will operate as a catalyst. And intentions of, I started messing up because I gave a manifestation, current, and upcoming state of reality. And so whatever, I can't tell you. You are witnessing this world as I am. What is humanity's disposition overall? What they call it, the medium, where you add everything up and divide it by how many ever contributors to it, and what do you get? You know, who are we? Who have we become? What are our intents? What motivates us? Whatever your answer is, it's only one truth. Whether we all disagree or not, it's only one truth. And whatever that is the, I can say, the emotional catalyst, the spiritual catalyst. It is what divinity sees and reads in, like the book of life, when he looked at us, because remember, we're in this appointed time. January 20th was the initiation of the appointed time, and that astrological event announced, hey, the appointed time is here for possibly what? Hypothetically, case scenario, for divinity to evaluate the book of life. And what he's found is humanity has a certain basic shared disposition and intent. And so spiritually, divinity say, just hypothetically, case scenario, example, say, okay, if you're like this, then these events, these experiences that you are about to happen and will happen in the distant future are directly relative, the law of relativity, to who you are. Move forward. And I didn't finish. Let's see. Earth shadows. Oh, I know what it was. It was starting to get a little deep, so I stopped. I was just going to read. And so everything that humanity overall, what will be created. Now, the babies that we have, and I'm not talking about a physical baby, I'm talking about our creative endeavors and the things that we do, that we bring into existence, what we manifest will be a representation or a baby of our inner state and essence. Everything is relative, the law of relativity. Anyway, reading. Earth's shadow. Earth's shadow. Overshadows the truth of the moon. Earth's shadow overshadows the truth of the moon. The realization of one's true emotional, mental, and even spiritual state. What am I saying? Still talking about that full blood, red wolf moon, all that. Is that humanity, most members in humanity are not aware of the state, their emotional state. They're not aware fully of their sense of vulnerability. They won't allow themselves to be. They won't allow themselves to be aware of other people suffering. They won't allow themselves to be for one reason or another. And so it almost seems to me like someone earlier talked about us going through a shift. This was the shift. January 20th was the shift. It was a shift. And so we shift into that state of manifestation, as I'm talking about. That which was pending begins to unfold. That shift happened. But we walked, it's almost like we walked into it blindly. We're looking directly at the issue. We're looking directly at the pain. We're looking directly at the hate, the disdain, or whatever else. And that we can't solve whatever problems. We're looking at it. But we can't see. They say looking through rose-colored glasses. So that's what was taking place during the shift. Looking directly at the change. But in understanding that we might not have been in the most healthiest place. We couldn't get ourselves to look at the truth and to deal with the truth. Anyway, and I found that interesting because on the opposite side, I don't remember, I didn't write down the degrees. Like I said, I stopped, is the sun. And so let me see if I wrote down the sun part a little bit anyway to spark my memory. Sunshine directly on the individual areas of personal direction. And that's what I'm saying, how even though we were going to this shift and the time has come, the appointed time has come to live out the residual effects of who we really are on the deepest level. Humanity, the members, the various people in humanity can't see or cannot acknowledge exactly where we are emotionally and psychologically and spiritually. Can't even do it. Looking dead at it. And so we allow that spirit to walk in to this shift, follow us into the shift. While at the same time, it was big and bold. We could see it. We just couldn't. The sun on the other side was exposing it all, meaning there was nothing hidden. It's just that we weren't capable of looking at it and acknowledging it, period. But it was out in the open. It was blatant out in the open is what I'm trying to say. So right there, that's just I didn't finish. Oh, it was one thing. I tracked Uranus. Uranus was in Aries. It went from Aries to Taurus, and then it went retrograde back into Aries, talking about Uranus. And so remember, we talked about Uranus before, and we talked about Uranus in Aries. We talked about Uranus in Taurus. Remember, Uranus represents electricity, power, technology. It has something to do with the future and things like that because it's directly associated with Aquarius. And it basically, I'll say this, it talks about advancements advancements in technology, the advancements that we have in the world, just advancing, just evolving, and how Uranus brings about these moments where we have this time, when it was in Aries, it was this time of us, of the avatar, doing physical work, doing what we're doing, moving forward, laying down on footsteps, building what we're going to do, set our plans up. And Uranus came and looked and said, hey, you avatar, people of the world, that which you created, are you cool with that? They can't even do it. I'm going to have this breakdown. Can you handle that? Existing, knowing it's going to break down, it's going to do what it do, or it's going to poison somebody, whatever. Can you? Because if you can't right now, it's the time to destroy it or get rid of it or change it or tweak it or something. And then move it on forward into Taurus so it can manifest and become a part of the world. Understanding that thing, whatever you create in the world, is going to have an effect or influence upon the world one way or another, whether it's positive or negative. So look at it. Remember, okay, going back to Uranus saying in Aries, that was the question. You doing this, you doing that, you're making this happen. Uranus moved into Taurus, and we created the prototypes. We laid the foundation, the blueprints. We got to use our first sample of it to see where the breakdown and the potentials and the studies and things like that, the reports, the analysts, we know something about it. We know what potential it has and how it can affect and influence the earth. Remember, Uranus went back to Aries and says, are you sure now that you have this information, now that you've ran these tests and did all these things, are you sure that you want to manifest a whole bunch of these replications of this in the world, knowing that it will affect and influence the world and the various people in the world one way or another, whether positive or negative? A lot of what you're finding out, humans, is that some of this stuff is negative. Do you want to keep it in play? Do you want to destroy? Do you want to go back to the drawing board or what? Well, the time will come in March, I think it was March 20th, that, and somewhere around there, that Uranus will move back into Taurus. And it'll be okay. It will be a go. It will be sad. And those things that we in humanity created, planned, laid the blueprints for, did the prototypes for, will begin to really come into existence and become part of our reality. And they will affect and influence humanity one way or another. And I bring that up because, remember, this super blood, whatever it is, wolf moon came first. And it had us looking at ourselves and who we are and what we are capable of doing and what we can contribute, And so how can I say? Let's say if we were very righteous people or positive people, come March and we pull back certain things like, nah, that ain't quite right for humanity. Come March, when things begin to manifest and solidify on this earth for the long haul, well, we didn't pull back things that are poisonous and toxic for, humanity. And so we don't have to live out those negative effects, those kind of things. It plays out relative, again, the law of relativity of who we really are as human beings. And so at the end of that, I was talking about that blood red, whatever, blood moon wolf. It was just too much stuff. Anyway, this live stream probably messing up, but I want to go back in, and now that is this live stream has stopped messing up, I want to go back in again. I'm asking you to personally evaluate me through using your own experiences with me, the information you've accumulated, and also the information that I'm sharing with you from that career assessment quiz or examination quiz. And the reason I'm asking you to do so is so that you can kind of evaluate how we people, individuals in humanity, weren't just put here. We weren't just born. We have some inbred or ingrained abilities. We have, and we're being called to duty. That will happen soon. I mean, it's happening already with the full wolf moon, but we're actually, I do believe, I haven't jumped ahead with astrology. You see, I'm been really procrastinating more and more lately, but I just kind of get this feeling when at some point in time, I think in the next year, that when I go to read those astrological alignments and things like that, I believe it's going to say that we're called to duty. I talked about an experience I had back in, I think it was March 6th of 2016, where I told you I had a awakened prophetic experience, and I shared it here on YouTube, and it gave the whole layout or the blueprint for what was going to transpire with humanity, and as far as in relationship to spirituality. And I testified in other videos that I'm watching as I laid out the whole blueprint in that video from March 6th of 2016, that prophetic experience. And so the whole blueprint was laid out then. But since that time, as I interpret the stars step by step, each one of those steps that were offered in that in that prophetic experience has unfolded just like it told. And so, and I don't be trying to be religious. I be trying to be honest with y'all and up front. So it's up to you to accept, to trust me, or to go research what I say. Either way, you're going to find what I'm talking about is true, one way or another. Anyway, so here we are at this juncture. And again, the year of the pig, if I'm not mistaken, talking about abundance and prosperity and manifestation and those kind of things. And so remember, we just hit a shift. Ooh, this was a big one. Ooh. And so we shifted. And so we will begin to see things change. And I think we will begin to see things really change. Like I said, March, I think it was 20th, but I stopped because I'd be overdoing it and I don't have a lot of audience. It's a lot of work. But it's, again, just like this thing, I'm about to go back to this career access assessment. I have a compulsion because I was pulled into the compulsion back on March 6th of 2016. To get a full-pledged message to play out over a span of time and to have watch it progressively unfold. You know, that's locking in, and I'm locked in. So my curiosity gets me. Gotta be careful. I know what y'all gonna say. Curiosity kill the cat. I ain't trying to get. But anyway, and so we're at this point where we're gonna say, so we got the big dogs coming out. They're going to really start barking, doing their doggone thing. Basically seizing control of the world, making money. We watching money change from paper to cryptocurrency, just all kind of stuff changing. Medicine, everything. People becoming that are blessed enough to make it, becoming successful entrepreneurs, more holistic practices are coming in, those kind of things. The old paradigm is collapsing. I know this whole live stream has changed on y'all, but it all go together, including me sharing my assessment. The old paradigm is collapsing. We can't even imagine things not being like they were. We won't even be able to recognize truly that it happened. It's almost like that effect you get when you look at an old photo from 5 years ago, and you be like, "What was I thinking of? I thought I was sharp. I thought I was flying my hair." And you look like you're looking like in the back 1970s or 60s. You're like, what happened? I expect that in another 5 or 10 years we'll be doing the same. Like, And I thought I was doing something. I looked a hot mess. The city looked a mess. Well, we thought we was doing better than we doing. You know, it's just that you can't see the change. And what I'm also trying to share is that the frequency is changing. In one sense, in one sense, it seems like it's getting lighter. In another sense, it is opposite. It is actual, like true dualism, pulling apart. Very, very light, hopeful, inspirational, has a lot of potential, and on the other side is this dark, it's this heavy, troublesome type of energy. And that is what the healthy cells in this body and the not so healthy cells. Right now, the healthy cells are really going to be, is doing it again. If I could just get to the end of this, really enjoying themselves, pulling themselves up by the bootstraps, so to say, or sustaining their sense of security in this physical world. But those that are part of those what are presumed to be unhealthy or the darker aspects of this being that we are in, the micro organisms, those that don't make the shift, are not riding on the frequency of this new shift, are going to, I believe, I'm presuming, I think is the word, we're going to hit some turbulent times. I do believe it. How long will those turbulent times be? How long? Not long. Oh, Lord. I got to say, I've seen it glitch. How long? Not long. It won't be long. Yeah, this thing is going out. Let's see. How long will the turbulent times be? How long? Not long. Let's see if that make it better. I say not long because whoever divinity is or whatever benevolent beings that exist that want to grant us favor, I know that they walk with us. They walk with me. They don't be strong enough for me. I want instant gratification, but that ain't what they into. And so what I'm saying, I believe that these entities or divinity has commanded certain entities to walk with us, to protect us, to teach us, to train us. We are being refined. We're being made to shine bright like a diamond. We have a purpose. We were born with innate abilities and talents and instincts, and they've been refined. We've been doing them since we came out, since we popped into this realm. And so we're going to go through this turbulent time, and it'll end as soon as how long ever it takes for people in humanity to, now this is something I haven't dealt with. I've been wanting to deal with for almost a year. Or I know it's been at least 7 months, and I haven't because I don't know how to articulate it. And it's about how do we unify. It's like unification based on region, based on culture. I'm not suggesting, I'm just throwing out possibilities. It's glitching again. I am not suggesting, I'm just kind of throwing out possibilities, I was saying. Because in our little sectors, in our little communities, whoever it may be, is where the overcoming, this thing glitching up, begins. In my sector, there is a doctor. There is somebody that's proficient with the law. There is somebody that's an herbalist. There is somebody that is a nurturer, a carer. In my immediate environment, there is a seer, a teacher. There is a healer. I am a spiritual guide, I'm in this environment. And so I believe we're going to be called to duty. We're going to have to stand up. Have you ever met somebody where they got talent? You be like, girl, go on. You know how you can do that thing. Go on up there and karaoke. They be like, no, I can't karaoke. But they really can. But they just don't have the confidence. Why? Because they're not making a lot of money. They're not being haven't been appreciated for their natural innate abilities or talents in this life. And so they don't have the confidence to get up there and make it happen. I think they're going to be called to duty soon and very soon. I really do. And it's going to require people to use their innate talents or their acquired talents in life. And they're going to have to get up there and get on that karaoke mic and sing their little hearts out, because they have a role to play in the immediate social circle. I don't know how many social circles there are. I already know it's 195 nations. But how many so small, intimate social circles are there? Might have to come back and do a video talking about the various types of social circles. Maybe that's how I deal with it. Various social circles. Because that's how we're going to be having to be broke up. You know how puzzle pieces fit together to create a whole bigger picture? It's going to be many, many, many small social circles of various kinds that fit together to bring humanity back to a whole and a workable emotional state after this turbulent experience. Now I'm going to have to look deeper, but that's what I seem, and I'm just presuming. So I don't know. I haven't looked at the stars, but I feel it based on that overall blueprint that I saw, that I shared here. You can find that video. It's called I think I done changed the name of it so many times. I just know it was shortly after proceeding March 6th, 2016, and it was called A Prophetic Message or something like that. Or end times prophecy or something like that. Anyway, I want to go back because I've been on a long time. They want to kick me off anyway because I keep glitching. And so I want to go back to this assessment real quick because I sure enough diverted way off of the subject matter of this live stream. But it all go together. So anyway, remember, I'm offering you the information that was given to me after my career assessment. And why is that? Because I want you to be able to see if I evaluate if I am called to this particular duty. And this particular duty is what? Reading tarot cards, helping others or clients meditate in order to get answers to their life challenges or concerns and different things like that. And so the next thing that this assessment cover is things. What is things? How you relate to things and priority and order. It says Nancy is most likely not motivated to engage in activities requiring close, consistent attention to precise, standard, exact measurements, close tolerances, detection of minor defects, and a long concentration on the process. Instead, there is a demonstrated preference for change, variety in activities with less concentration and specialized focus. Yeah, of course, I can't see no more. The focus like that, focusing got me half blind. Okay, reading some of the red. Being stuck to a machine all day is not Nancy's definition for a satisfactory vocation, occupation, or job. 100% nailed it. Engineering activities regarding machines, systems, etc. do not fit Nancy's vocational interests. Not really, not at all. I don't want to be oily, like working on cars and machinery. And I told you when it came to those doggone computers, I didn't know what I was doing when I was trying to write computer programs. That one was a waste of time. I would try one more time just to see. Nancy preferences and motivations in vocational activities are not oriented toward routine, alert monitoring. I don't want to be security. You get messed up waiting for me to protect you. Manual labor is not an activity where Nancy is in any way motivated. Manual labor is not an activity where Nancy is in any way motivated. I wish they had told me earlier in life. I don't remember that part. Routine, elementary, sensory, physical activity. Anyway, moving on. Nancy's motivations are not compatible with assembly line activity where one is locked into operational processes. Nancy is not motivated toward processing activities, no matter what is being processed or who is doing the processing. For one or more of a variety of possible reasons, Nancy does not prefer working with heavy equipment operation. I am not called to be a high-low driver or anything like that, or to drive a Bobcat. Going on, it talks about data, how you relate to data in priority. It says, along with other mental activities and preferences, Nancy sees the bigger picture or assembles perceptions, thoughts, information, data, numbers, etc. in the context of the big picture. It is important to determine by scanning other factors in this section how high motivational levels are for synthesizing relative to other mental processes regarding analyzing, comparing, and coordinating in particular. This comparison determines whether Nancy prefers to start with the big picture or build up to it later. Because Nancy has moderate motivational levels for mental process, just moderate. It will be more down to earth than on the cloud nine, more logical than fantasy or abstract. And that makes sense. Although I'm an Aquarian, you always hear me talk about my counter ruler is a Saturn, and it sure enough grounds me. I have heard that some Aquariuses have like an airhead kind of energy. I don't have it. I can portray it at times, especially if I'm lost in thought, and the thought is more of planning. I think for a purpose. I think in order to move in this physical world. But anyway, I say that because they nailed me on that as to some degree as well. Basically, all of it's right. I don't remember seeing anything about that I didn't agree with. And reading some of the read under the data and how I interact with data or data is Nancy has analytical research and innovative preferences, establishing an objective for new breakthroughs and innovation. Nancy prefers an emphasis on utility when called upon to recognize and identify or classify important factors. Copy activity involves detail and routine, which is preferable by Nancy and includes reproducing images and information, etc. Nancy is motivated to coordinate, i.e., manage, manipulate, administer, etc., that which is at hand to achieve plan. Whatever's readily available, we're going to use it, we're going to make it happen. We're going to rig it. Nancy's motivational levels support being conscious of the importance of information and evidence relative to the whole. And it also goes on, and last but not least, relative to data, is routine, factual, mathematical problem solving does not represent any vocational preferences of Nancy. It went right back into that math. Remember, I told y'all I failed in college math at least 5 times. It said that the mathematical problem solving is not my thing. It got too long. Now, how about reasoning? Again, am I built to be a tarot reader or a spiritual advisor? Reasoning, how you relate to reasoning. or how I relate to reasoning. Nancy's mental preferences include holistic and conceptual thinking, awareness of the essential meaning of things, ability to deal with abstract variables, consideration and selection of options. Help you solve some of life mysteries or to deal with any challenges or concerns you may have. As a spiritual advisor, that's what I do. I don't give you the answer. I just help you meditate. The big picture is kept in mind as Nancy works with ideas, plans, and activities, which is where the motivational level is derived from, right? It's divine. The preferences in Nancy's mind tend to be oriented toward systems engineering, identifying, analyzing, and solving challenges. I like that part because even though I don't have interest in working with machines, of course you know that I can. It's just not something that I'm passionate about. And so I understand, again, Saturn as my co-ruler, I understand order, restrictions, time, repetitiveness. I understand all those things. I just prefer not to use those things. But I can also use those same abilities or skills in more of that theoretical and conceptual. I can use it even there. I've learned how to use it there. It doesn't have to be pushing the doggone button, the same dang on button. Anyway, going on, depending on the situation, Nancy generally prefers a simple routine task in a familiar environment. Like I'm be here at home. Most of my work is home. Or I'll visit a person's home, depends on who it is. Or allow them to come here, just depends. Nancy is motivated and perhaps even mentally equipped for troubleshooting, to recognize or otherwise identify problems. And the next thing is the mathematical, I know this word, not mathematical, methodical, meticulous, routine activities do not motivate, are not acceptable or tolerable by Nancy. I do not want to be, I don't want it to be what is mandatory. I don't want it to be mandatory. Can I be methodical? Yes. Can I be meticulous? Yes. Routine? Yes. But I would prefer not to be. Remember, I'm Aquarius. I'm air. I'm supposed to be somewhat free. And that energy right there in me is usually activated when someone that I'm working with, back to partnerships, does not carry their weight and there is a job to be done. Then I have to go under, being methodical and, following routine and becoming miraculous. Isn't not miraculous? You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna go there. If my man don't want to know, that means I don't talk too much. Anyway, going on. I'm almost done, y'all. Nancy literally may get system. Nancy literally may get system claustrophobia if she has prolonged involvement in running, monitoring, or maintaining, doing the same thing over and over again. I become claustrophobic. They telling the truth, y'all. My mathematical capacity, how you relate to applied usage of math. I'm not even going to read that. Y'all kind of know that. In short, it says Nancy is not motivated by even basic math. Unless it's the Benjamins, then I'm highly motivated. I'm highly motivated. Let's see if there's anything else. I think that's it, y'all. Y'all have been very patient with me. And it talks about language and how I communicate as well. And it says Nancy has a creative writing and communicating preferences that are important, vocational motivators, mental mental preferences are holistic and conceptual and include, do you know that I'm still alive? Who is that? Michael. Who is that?
Guys,
Who?
cat, couch.
Oh, wow. Who is that just came in?
Pearl?
I thought I heard you talking to some guy.
What's up, Pearl?
Oh, that was Pearl.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, because I'm about to start cussing. Tell her clean it up. Do something. Find me something to eat. I done worked so hard here on this YouTube. I done got hungry. And I'm about to be off in a minute. Anyway, I apologize, y'all. Just want to talk about the communications because, of course, that's important in the line of work that I do. I do believe that I'm feeling my calling. I really do. It talked about, still talking about the communications and the writing, and it talked about my mental preferences are holistic and conceptual and include abstract thoughts, concepts, theories, capacity for fiction, and symbols. Writing probably is not so much motivational. Remember, I told you I'm tired of writing. My hands hurt and I go through so much paper, and it really is not. I forced myself to write for years, but I'm going to pull back. And then plus I said it, writing probably is not so motivational as to be a specialized or professional activity. But Nancy probably does consider it in particular areas. I do. I consider writing in particular areas. In order to get to school, I had to write. To get my kids up, I had to continue to write. Writing for the channel to do the research, I had to write. So if it's mandatory, I will write. And I will do my best. When I was fighting a lawsuit, I had to write 10 and 15 pages every goddamn day, it seemed like. But if it's mandatory, I can write. These things I can do. There are just certain things that have more of a natural ability to accomplish, and I'm able to accomplish it with more ease, and I'm passionate about it, and it's not a lot of stress on me. And that is to do what? Commune with another, to meditate, to tap into their essence, and to use my intuition to again help them meditate themselves and answer some questions and concerns. And what I'm saying here is that even this assessment, career assessment, supports my move to be a tarot reader. After all these years, I was walked here, whether I was walked by divinity or if I was walked by some benevolent being, I'm here. Is it what I thought it would be? No. But I'm here. I'm here. And so I'm here. Now, I don't have no Band-Aids. Y'all play with them like y'all kids. It's over. None. Anyway, still talking about, what was that? Communication. She threw me off again. Logical explanation. Explanation and education can be motivational for Nancy in some instances. This motivational level is high. Nancy's vocational preferences include such as activities as gathering, processing, and recording, transmitting, filing, etc., etc. And that's interesting. I didn't read that before this began, but I was talking about how we historically, when I talk about historically, humanity got to this point of advancement and of survival through amassing information and trying things out, cross-referencing and recording it and passing it down. Is saying that's part of who I am. I'm supposed to gather information. And that's what I do as Aquarius. In my associations, I constantly pick up information from everybody. Good, bad, ugly, all of it. Amass it, cross-reference it, file it, and then play it when appropriate. Anyway, going on, Nancy does not pay particularly close attention to non-motivational information, data, and details such as elementary. And I always talk about that. I liked when I saw that too. It says Nancy, I repeat, does not apply. Nancy does not pay particularly close attention to non-motivational information, data, or details such as elementary, basically information. And I'll get on here on this YouTube sometime and go live or make a video and tell y'all I'm just rambling and ranting. I'm getting rid of extra information. I know that is relevant, but it's not real vital or critical for the moment. It may come up later, and so I want to document it so I don't lose it, don't get suppressed with all the information that I get. But everything is not. Remember, the message has to be delivered timely. One of the swords is the Knight of Swords that has to deliver the message timely, or is the Page? The Page of Swords. Timely messages, and messages that are intuitive. I'm not intuitive. And integrity. Okay, got to the end. Whoever hung with me, thank you. But at the end, this career assessment offers your top career areas. Of course, this is just an example. So the first 10, they ain't give to me. But I'm going to read the next few that they offered me. So I'm into the 12th, 11th or 12th, and 11th or 20th suggested career field for me to consider. And it is instructive, fine arts, drama, art, music. And I share here, I have a degree in art history. And so I've been in alignment the whole time. And that's what I'm dealing with now, is not understanding why it didn't work for me the way I would have, of course, preferred it to work for me. So I do have a degree in art history. The next thing is kindergarten, elementary education, teach and nurture. I just share it here, and I've shared it many other times. I ran a daycare for over 10 years. I was an administrator at a daycare. So still lined up. Why didn't it work for me? Why have I always just been able to barely keep my head over top? And so I'm just answer that again. Now I'm rambling ranting because I just want to get the information out so that it is recorded, so I can always come back to it and tap into it. At the time I said, well, why have I just in life been able to just barely keep my head above water? Why hasn't it worked for me? And I'm in alignment. I have been walked to these experiences in my life, and why? And I got this thing, it played back into a live stream I made not too long ago, was talking about when I was talking about how we humans in humanity, especially in the United States, are very, we live very lavishly. And is it possible that we can live just a little more simplistically? I said in that video, I can live simplistically if, conditional, everybody had a fair portion. Everything was distributed fairly, and I know that's idealistic and a utopia, and most likely it would never happen unless something divine falls in. But I say that because where I sit now, I tell y'all, even in those videos, I'm not suffering. I'm not where I want in this world. Like many others, I would prefer to be have a safety net or be a little further ahead, or having my head a little further above the water. If I make a wrong step, I'm slipping underwater, and so it's those kind of things. But I say that and I share that because is that how things are meant to be? I am fulfilling my dharma or my purpose in life, and I'm okay. And I'm supposed to be, and I'm supposed to be okay with that. Is that what our goal in life is really supposed to be about? I'm wondering. Just putting that down for the record. Moving forward, still talking about the suggested occupations for me. Interview, information gathering, and dispense of information. Doing that on YouTube. Now, I want to see somehow I'm gonna find how much this thing costs because I want to see the top 10 because the first three after them top 10 I'm doing that. Now the next thing is health, physics, safety engineering, occupational, creative, entertainment, imagination, and spontaneousness, which I do. I have participated and it didn't fly. Another thing that didn't fly in my own party planning. It was wonderful work. Just couldn't get the clientele, never had the social outreach. And so I've done that. Volunteer social services, social personal. I have done a little volunteer work, but that was minimal because I was a mom, preoccupied. Supervisory and instructive teach, manage, service classes. I can kind of see that in my future. Dramatics, interpretation, portray roles. Get to act? Me? Maybe I'm doing that right now. Look, dramatics, interpret, poetry, and roles. Me. No, it'd be community stage. That's okay. Demonstrate sales, store contact with customers. Oh, hell no. See, I'm be mad. Modeling, artistic display, fashion and apparel. You know, I got that little flamboyant a little bit. So, and that's about it, y'all. Well, I thank you once again for coming around. You please leave a comment below and tell me, based on what you heard in this live stream today, was I created to be a tarot reader or, what kind of spiritual advisor? And not only that, leave below, what were you created to do, to be? What natural abilities do you have or have you cultivated in the course of your life that you have to do some works in this physical earth that will ultimately have an impact upon the state of humanity? Thank you. We have become numbed out. Yes, we have. And I'm trying to stay away. And I think that's why, in the live stream. Now I'm talking to the chat. I think that's why I'm so, what's the word? Gregarious or, kind of like flamboyant. Is not that I have a flamboyant, but I feel that numbness, the numbness. I've seen a lot in my life, and I could just bust out and cry forever. I can worry every day, but I know life is short and I want to enjoy life. I would prefer to enjoy the people in my life. I would prefer to do what I want to do, but life is just not allowing me to have it. But I do see how I have a calling. I see that. I have experience and I understand how the devil came to, again, maybe like I said, there's certain things I'm not getting. I call it the Jinky Genie in my life. I got a video on this channel about the Jinky Genie, but the devil knew, or we can say the negative side of me, the dark side of me knew I'm not getting what I want as far as that which will satisfy my ego. And so it arose in me or came to me and said, I'm going to give you some of what you want if you will perpetuate darkness in this world for wherever it is ill is. But when I declined, I was still having my predestined, preordained experiences that have always been in direct connection with my calling or my natural abilities or those kingdoms. I just didn't get the favor. I met with more hard times. The devil get mad at you, or the dark side get mad at you for not releasing it. And so that's what I deal with. And these are the realizations that I'm having, or in this part of the awakening, it's really happening. Something is really happening. And it's been I'm not gonna lie, it's been a while since some real live spiritual stuff just out bold came out on me, because it used to happen all the time. But now it seems like it's increasing with intensity. And I think it's going to be based on what other people are sharing. It won't just be just me this time. So I appreciate that. It says, Nancy, I got to wake up early tomorrow. I will finish the cool exploration. Thank you, Yoni. Well, y'all, I was done. Thank you for your time, energy, and love. Y'all have a wonderful and safe night. Bye-bye.